And here are the 7 things that need to be planned in order to not fail at retirement. As a teacher, every year I get 8 weeks to sample and practice retirement. Now, as someone that's inching into their 60s, I definitely want to know, what is it going to be like when I am retired, and make sure that I properly plan, because I've never done this before, but I want to make sure that I'm fully prepared. And I don't want to fail. You know, teachers, we don't like F's. So the first thing to be aware of is budgeting. Now, when you're home all day, like me on summer vacation practicing retirement, I find that I spend more money. I don't know. Is it because I have 8 less hours a day, or I don't know. Is it because I have 8 more hours a day to spend? Normally I'm at work for over 8 hours a day. Less time to spend money, but when I'm home, I want to do things. I want to go places like the baseball game or SeaWorld or the weekend getaways. And if you haven't seen those videos about those adventures, I'll go ahead and link those in the description so you can see how someone inching their way into their 60s is enjoying those moments. But all these things cost money, even with, I should say, the free tickets. I had free tickets to SeaWorld as a teacher, plus I had free tickets for my daughter to the Angel game. But it still costs money. Just to get a drink is like $10, $15. Some places $16 for a soda. I'm not talking alcohol here. We're talking just a soda. It's crazy. When I'm not going out during my trial run of retirement, I do like to acrylic paint, I like to crochet, and I also enjoy scrapbooking and paper crafting. Now, again, those all cost money. I do also like to garden, but again, that costs money. You need to have money for these things that you do in your free time. Although there was one thing that I did during my practice retirement, and that was cleaning out and decluttering my garage. I have a 2-car garage that's full of junk that I never see, I never touch usually. And my kids were so kind to come over and help me with this big task. They spent the whole day over here, cleaned out and just got rid of stuff that I no longer use, no longer need, and I haven't touched. Gosh, I've lived in this house for over 20 years. Some of it I haven't touched in 10 or maybe 20 years, and it was time for those things to go. So donated what we could, and then the rest was trash. Just throw it away. So as we're getting ready to throw all this stuff away, of course, there's not enough room in the trash cans that I have. So I call, and in order to get someone to come and pick it up and haul it away, it was $500. And then the other option was calling the trash company, and they would gladly give me a dumpster for over $100. And I decided no, I was going to do this at no cost, no additional cost. So my kids and I, we bagged up everything into big black trash bags, and I stacked them on the side of the house. And every week I would throw out a few bags. Every week a few more bags went into the trash. I was already paying for trash service, so there was no extra cost there. And I was able to clean out and declutter my garage at no cost. So that was one thing I was able to do that didn't cost me anything. But I'm wondering, once I get through all this decluttering and cleaning, then what am I going to do on my retirement that doesn't cost me money? So overall, my budget is more. I spend more money when I am practicing my retirement. Now, could I live more frugally? Yes. Would that be okay at first? And probably for a time being, that would be okay to live frugal and not go out and just tinker, I guess, around the house. But eventually, I think I'm going to get bored and lonely just staying home or walking in the park and doing the free things that cost no money. Now, the other very important thing, number 2, is I tend to get lazy and I find myself sitting. I can just sit and watch TV all day long. Now, the problem with that is I'm not moving my body. And a very wise nurse once told me that motion is lotion and rest is rest. And I don't want my body to be rusty, and I want to be able to move, because we all know that health is our wealth. If you have your health, you are very, very wealthy, because without that, all the money in the world cannot buy your health. So staying healthy, staying active is very important. So I know now that for my retirement, I need to plan movement in my day and not just sit around the house and it can be done tomorrow. Everything can be done tomorrow. I need to plan movement. Every single day, I need to do something where my body is actively, physically moving, and not just me on my cell phone playing video games. That doesn't count. That is good for our mind and keeps our minds active playing those video games, but it's not so good for our physical well-being. So I have found that I do need to plan to have some physical activity every single day. Another one, because I'm not fully retired yet and I'm only practicing my retirement, is I think over time I would feel disconnected from the younger generations. Now, as a high school teacher, I am pretty hip. Haha, there's an old one for you. I'm pretty hip and happening when it comes to the new language and the lingo going around, right? And I can keep up and I can understand what the young people are talking about and what they're saying, because I don't know about you, but back in my day, back in the 80s, if something was extra specially good, you would say it was bad. That is bad, right? Really bad. That's so bad. Because bad back in the 80s meant really, really good. Now, if you said that today, young people would question you like, it's bad, it's not good, like what's wrong? Because the new word is fire. The new word for bad is fire. So I think over time, I would be more and more distanced from the youth and the younger people, and I wouldn't be able to keep up. I wouldn't understand. So being actively working, it does help me stay connected, I guess you would say, to the younger people. The other thing is feeling unproductive. Now, I don't know what it is about staying home. I was feeling very unproductive during my trial retirement here. So I had watched a YouTube video about productivity, and they suggested brainstorming a little to-do list about what you're going to accomplish the next day so that you'll feel like you accomplished something, right? Now, I don't know. The first time I made 5 things on my list and I only accomplished 3 of them. The next day I was like, well, maybe I'll just do 3 on my list and then I'll accomplish all of them. And then I only did 2. So I was looking about a 60% success rate on my to-do list. I just wasn't accomplishing what I thought I should be accomplishing. And I really think that's actually more of a mind shift. I think I need to adjust my mind for retirement, that productivity isn't going to look the same as it does in the workforce, right? Being at home, doing things, yeah. Do I have to grocery shop today? No. Is it good that I got out and weeded the yard? Yes. I only took an hour or 2. That's okay too, right? So productivity is going to look a little different. Productivity could be self-care. Did I give myself a manicure, a pedicure, maybe a facial that day? That is being productive and doing good things for yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think in the workforce, we are so used to being productive by doing things for others. We're doing things for our company. Me, I do them for my students. I do all these things and I feel productive. But productivity is going to change a little bit, I think. It's going to have to be self-care, self-love, doing things that are good for us. And that may or may not be working. It could be doing some relaxing yoga or meditation, reading a good book. It doesn't have to be producing something, right? So I think a mind shift there might have to happen for me. What about you? Do you think you would need to make a mind shift there as far as productivity and what counts as productivity? Because actually a less busy lifestyle doesn't have to be a boring lifestyle. It doesn't have to be boring. And for me, because I was planning to retire at 60, which would be next year. But now I'm thinking 62 might be a better option for me, or even 61. 61, 62 is my current goal for retirement. And I think I need to make sure I'm looking at my long-term financial plans and making sure I have enough money to live comfortably. Now, what it seems like to me is I may use more of my finances or more money in the beginning of my retirement, in these early years of retirement, because I'm more physically active and I want to do things during my youthful senior years, and I want to be able to enjoy those. But as I plan out, I do feel like less and less I'll be spending money. I won't spend as much the older I get, because when you're in your 80s, do you really want to be running around and traveling? I don't know. Some might. For me, I'm not so sure, because even now, it's a hassle. It's a hassle to plan and travel and get on a flight and all those things. So I think financial planning, because I am planning to retire early, I need to be aware that I need to have a little bit more money, especially at the beginning, the earlier years of my retirement, and then plan accordingly. Number 7, the biggest surprise I would think is in my 8 weeks during the summer that I get to practice retirement, I find, the first few weeks, I am so happy. This is like the best thing. But then I kind of just settle into my regular happiness. I'm no more happy than when I was working all day, getting up early, going to work and coming home and living my life that way. So that may surprise some of you that just when you retire, you're not going to magically become happy. We all tend to kind of settle into our own happiness routine. And I think with retirement, that is no different. We need to make sure we have those hobbies, things to fill in our time, things that we enjoy. Because I can tell you, sitting around watching TV all day gets really boring. And then especially when off season hits and then there's nothing new, it's all reruns. It's like, oh no, here we go again. If you are unhappy before retirement, you will still be unhappy after retirement. Even leaving that toxic job, all that stress, hustle, bustle of your day-to-day, you're still going to be unhappy. So retirement is just not the fix, right? You're going to have some things to fill in to make you happy. What's going to make you happy? What is it that you enjoy? I know several years ago, I started thinking about that. What brings me joy? What makes me happy? And I remembered back in high school, I enjoyed math. Math was my thing. I loved math. At the time, I was an insurance investigator, but started thinking about math and how I was so passionate about math. The other thing I remember that I enjoyed in high school was softball. I absolutely loved softball. What did I do to fix that? I became a math teacher and I started a senior league. I was playing softball for a while, and then I transitioned and I became an umpire official for girls fast pitch softball. Both of my passions I brought back from high school. What is it that you're passionate about? What is it that you like to do that you would like to pick up in your retirement? Or maybe start now before you retire while you're in your youthful senior years. What is it that you'd like to do that will bring you joy and bring you happiness in place of that toxic, stressful work environment? So what is it that you'd like? I can tell you that retirement, my practice retirement, I know is not the perfect magic liquid for my happiness. But I also can tell you, not having to commute and sit in traffic, spend all that money on gas and all the stressors of the day, that does bring me joy when I think about it, and not having to do that. It is a good thing. So retirement, I am looking forward to retirement, and I am looking forward to do it earlier, sooner than later. And I'm pretty happy now, so I am sure I will be happy as a retired person. I feel like I've got plenty of hobbies and things that I enjoy that I can continue. What would you like to do in your retirement? Are there some things that I've forgotten to plan? Is there anything else that I may have missed? Because I'm getting down to the last 2 years before I retire. So I really need to know, like, what do I need to start getting ready for? If you've enjoyed this content, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.